Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I've decided to do this month's video all about how to qualify a job properly. Now, this is not just aimed at people brand new to recruitment. I'm sure any of us that have been consultants for a number of years will admit that we do get sometimes stuck in a rut with some of our processes and could probably do on reflecting and improving some of the things we do. So yes, I'll be going back to basics for the newbies that are watching this video, but for anybody with recruitment experience, there may be some tips or things within this video that may help you to improve some of the processes that you've already got. So basically, when we're working a job for a client, the less that we know, the less likely we are to fill the job. We need information to be able to find the right candidate, understand the role appropriately, to be able to sell in that job to our candidates, to do things like write a great job ad. We need information. And the only way we're going to get that information is by asking our clients and having a proper chat with them. A lot of consultants that I speak to worry about seeming sometimes too needy to their clients, or worried that if they ask too many questions, they may come across as they might not have the right knowledge to recruit for that client. That is not the case. Remember that when you are working with a client, they are hiring you to be the recruitment expert. That is what is missing from their business. They don't need you to be an expert in the jobs that you work, as in be able to do them to the level the people working them do. They need you to be the recruitment go-to person. And to be able to do that and fill the jobs, which is their ultimate end goal and our end goal as well, you have to have the right information. For me, if a client was reluctant to let me qualify the job or wouldn't let me book in a chat to do that, it was a red flag for me. And it's sometimes a good indicator of whether or not you should work that job or not. The other reason why we qualify our jobs is to work out whether it is worth working. So if you're not able to do that, not only are you making it harder for yourself to find the right candidate and fulfill the client's end goal, which is to place somebody, you're also making it harder for yourself to understand if a client or job is worth working on. And you could end up wasting so much time working roles that are just not worth bothering with. Quick tea break. For me, the secret to qualifying a job thoroughly is to have pre-prepared questions. This is something that I did right at the start of my career. I was guided to do it by who I got trained by. I then used it all the way through my recruitment career. Even when I was 7-8 years into being a consultant, I had pre-prepared questions accessible on my computer or by my desk that if I was speaking to a client, I had there to guide me so I wouldn't forget anything. I probably did know them off by heart, most of them, but if I was caught off guard or busy and had a lot going on, I didn't want to miss anything. And that was the perfect thing to help me not forget anything, basically. When I train people, part of what I give them is a template. Basically, all it is 2 columns, one on the left, so you can write in the questions you want to ask, and on the right, a blank box where you can write the comments, so you have the answers next to the questions. Because I'm sure we've all been in situations where we're talking to a client or a candidate, we're scribbling away furiously, making loads of notes, but then go back to look at the notes and forget what it was in relation to in that part of the conversation. So that just helps you correspond the answers to the questions that you've asked. If anyone would like the blank performer that I give to the people I train, my contact details are below this video. Feel free to contact me and I can send that out to you. Or you can just make your own with 2 columns or write them down in a notepad as well, whatever works for you. Having these pre-prepared questions is great because if you're ever caught off guard, so you could be making a catch-up call to a client when suddenly they mention they've got a job, or it could be a cold call you've made to a company where they do have a job and they're happy to talk to you about it. You're caught off guard. So it means that you can quickly grab this piece of paper or open up the document on your laptop and you've got the questions there to help guide you through that call. So you're probably thinking now, well, what questions do I ask? Where do I start? Now, I will give you some examples shortly, but a good way to work out what you need to find out is at this point, if you have a job description from the client, read over it and think, what do I need to know in addition to what's on here to help me find the right person? But also, as a lot of us know, the job description can be a bit of a wish list for our clients. So if you're reading it and thinking, well, there's a lot of stuff on here that they want, what are the things that I want to know are important? What are the driving factors in this company finding the right person, so I know what I need to look for? And it's not just what do I need to know to find the right person, but also what do I want to know to be able to find the right person? Because there could be things that you want to know or feel that you should know that the client might not have even thought of. Again, you are the expert in recruitment. So if you read that job description and feel there's information missing, things you need to know to be able to speak to the right candidates and sell in this job, they are the types of questions that you need to be asking. Also, a good way to think of what questions you need to ask is anticipate the types of questions that the candidates will have that you're speaking to. What are the typical questions that you get asked that candidates usually want to know? Because if it's not on the job description, or if you don't have a job description, they are the things that you need to find out. So, for example, most candidates will want to know the location, they'll want to know the salary, things like career development opportunities, what is the team like, those types of questions. They won't always be on the job description you're given or immediately available to you. So when you're qualifying a job, having those questions prepared is really important. It doesn't look good if you're selling in this company to a candidate, wanting them to go for it, bigging it up, and the key bits of information that they need to make that decision, we don't have because the client hasn't given them or we've not asked. If we can't provide that information, it's slowing down the process and not exactly instilling confidence in our candidates. So here are some examples of some questions you could ask. I mentioned earlier about knowing what the team is like. So you might want to ask the hiring manager you're speaking to, how many are in the team? What is the team setup like? You might want to explore the culture of the organization a bit more, because again, that's a big thing for some people, is that they join a company whose culture fits in with their values. Clarify the main responsibilities of the role and what type of career progression would be available once they've worked their way through that position. Who they will be reporting into may not necessarily just be the person you're speaking to. At the moment, because of COVID, a lot more people are working from home or have hybrid elements to their role. So it's clarifying that. And if they are hybrid, how often will they be required to be in the office? That is a big thing for people at the moment. So if you have that information, it will help people work out whether that is a role that's right for them. What is the most important thing to them on that job description? What are the things that they must have to be able to apply for this job? What are the things that are desirable? So really whittling it down to what is going to be the deciding factors for this manager. It could be personality. You need to know that because then you want to probe around, well, what type of personality are you looking for? If you don't know that, it's going to be really hard for you to find that out. Now, depending on the type of niche or industry that you work in, you may need to know what tech stack they work with in that team. You may need to know what type of products they're selling, for example, and who are their customers? What internal stakeholders will they deal with or external? How often will they be working on projects alone against in a team? They're all very specific to the role that you're working on. But again, you need to know those specifics because the candidates will want to know those pieces of information. If it's a contract, how long will they need them for? If it's perm, would they consider a contractor to fill the gap while you're looking for this perm person? You may end up, if they'll consider it, almost getting 2 placements out of 1. Who else should you be speaking to about this role? And at the end, who else is recruiting in the company? Who else should you be speaking to? You may be speaking to one hiring manager about a job, but there could be a million other hiring managers with roles in the company as well. So yes, in that call, your main priority is to first qualify the job in question, but maybe towards the end, be asking who else you should speak to and what other plans do the company have, what else have they got going on, because you're always looking for growth opportunities. And if you've got someone on the phone that's happy for you to be working a role, why would they not recommend you to somebody else in the organisation or in their team? It's great also to cover off with them what is your interview process, what the interviews involve, when they'd like to start interviewing, what dates they might have in mind. Also, when do they need this person to start? Because people have notice periods. So if they want someone to start in a month, and that is an absolute, you know, if you're screening people and they've got a 2 or 3 month notice period, it's going to be a no-go. With understanding the interview process, you can then understand the timescales that you're needing to work to. But if you investigate them more thoroughly, it will help you prep your candidates for those interviews. If they are being very specific about the dates of the interviews, you know when you're screening candidates that you need to make sure they're available or to keep those dates free. So you're preempting a lot of stuff. Yes, you may think it's too far in advance, but it's going to make sure that you're keeping candidates committed, informed and available as much as possible. How long has the job been open for? We need to know that, and how many agencies are working on the role at the moment. If this position has been open for weeks and weeks, there's 1,000,001 agencies looking at it, and then you're getting to it. Is it a job that's worth working on? There's obviously something going on in that process. And if all those agencies have been on it for weeks, the job boards will have been rinsed, even LinkedIn potentially. Is it a high priority job? Probably not. If there have been some agencies working on it, but not for that long, it's worth you exploring. How has that process been going? What's been missing from the candidates the other agencies have sent you? It's a great way of you working out what they want by what's been missing before, why have they declined people before. It really helps you refine your search. If there aren't any other agencies on it, you may be the first one to get there, or they've never worked with agencies before. That is an opportunity for you to qualify whether or not you can work that role exclusively. So it's a great lead into that. How would you feel about me focusing on this for you exclusively for a period, let's say 2 weeks, and getting them to agree to that? Another great question to ask is to find out when they have hired for these roles before, what companies people have come from. Because again, it gives you a good indicator of the background and experience they want. And if you're thinking about headhunting people, you know exactly where to go. Also understanding who their competition are, because again, to headhunt, they are the perfect companies to approach. You may also want to ask about what training is provided, especially if it's a more junior role. The candidates are likely to want to know about that. So it's covering off what the training will involve and how long it will last for. Sometimes when companies put on training for a group of new starters, it's even in a different location. So it's getting that confirmed as well. Depending what stage you are at with this client, you may also need to speak about terms, because this could be a job that you've picked up from a brand new client. It could be your first call with them and they've given you a role. So depending on how your agency likes to do it, what you may also need to do is find out what terms they normally work to with agencies, what they normally agree to, have that discussion with them. There could be some negotiating around that you have to do as well, but that would probably come more towards the end of the call. So if you're feeling like, yes, I can work this job, I've got great information, I've potentially got candidates, and terms haven't been agreed, then it would be a good time to bring that up. But like I said, some agencies agree terms in different ways. It's different people in the company. So if that's the way your agency does it, obviously keep it that way. But if not, to know whether this is a job you can work and to qualify it appropriately, you will need to bring that up and make sure they can work to the terms you know are set with your agency. Now, by gaining all of this information, if you have a strong talent pool of candidates, you may already in your head be thinking of people that would be great for this role. And a perfect time to mention these people is towards the end of the call. When you've got that information, you've understood their pain points, you can then provide a solution. By qualifying the job thoroughly, you may be in a position to mention candidates to them in that call, and they may even want to interview those candidates, but you're showing them that you've got the knowledge, you understand, you've listened, and you have people suitable. Now, I could go on and on and on with questions you could ask, but they are just some examples of ones. So if you're thinking of creating your own performer, I would encourage you to start brainstorming questions. Think about times you've worked roles where maybe you haven't had the information you need and what that information was. You could even type it up in a Word document, but I would start thinking and preparing so the next time you're in a position where you need to qualify a job, you have that information to hand and ready to go. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you found it really useful. If anybody would like to have a further discussion about qualifying roles, or if you have any questions at all, please feel free to contact me. I have all my contact details listed below the video. I know I've had a lot of new subscribers over the past month as well, so welcome to you all. I really welcome people's comments around new videos they might want to see me do. So if there's anything at all, please add it into the comments and I'll factor it into my up and coming videos. I've also included a link to my ebook, which has just been published. It's all about how to work from home successfully as a recruitment consultant, and it's beneficial for you whether you're brand new to recruitment or whether you're experienced, and it's using all my own experiences from working from home for over 7 years now. I wish you all the best when you're qualifying your jobs, and I will catch up with you next month in my new video. Take care and speak to you soon. Bye.